What? Is it really worth getting into mead making? Are you seriously asking me that? Well, the answer is yes. Duh. It's a stupid question. You want me to explain why? All right. Let's do this. All right. So mead making, is it really worth getting into? Like I said, definite yes. One of the main things people kind of ask, isn't it expensive? You know, there's all this equipment that you need. Honey's expensive. Why get into it? We're going to kind of break down the cost of things. In a general term, it's really, it depends where you're from. I'm from Canada, so everything here is going to be kind of priced in Canadian dollars. But this will kind of give you an idea, and I just kind of, roughly figured things out. And I'll show you that in a little bit. You need to remember that you can reuse this equipment over and over and over and over again. So once you purchase it up front, you're good. Just take proper care of it, sanitize it, all that kind of fun stuff. Let's talk ingredients now. Everyone complains that honey's expensive. And it is. If you ever see what's involved in beekeeping, I tip my hat to those guys. They are amazing, and they provide us, the key ingredient. Whoop.
Look at your dad, such a dork, keeping bees. I mean, at least it's interesting, though. At least, I wish my dad kept bees.
You can always get honey from Costco. This is Canadian wildflower. It's a 3 kilogram jug, and it's $19.99. And if you're just starting out, this is easily enough for 2 1 gallon batches. And that's including with back sweetening and everything. That's all dependent on how much honey you want to use in your meads. I usually aim for about the 3 pounds per gallon mark, but if you want to dry your mead, you can do 2.5 pounds, 2 pounds. It depends how sweet you want it, but like I said, just use this as a basis. So you can simply make a mead with that. Some water and yeast. And yeast, like a packet of yeast like this, is about $1. And this one pack, again, it is enough to do 2 1 gallon batches. So it actually is pretty cheap. Now for nutrients. Nutrients can be a little bit different, and you can get they usually sell them in little packets. These are just Camden tablets, but they also have the powders. They usually break them all down. Like for these Camden tablets, which are for helping to stabilize, this pack has 50 in it, and it was $2.89 for a package. And really, you only need about 2 of these for a 1 gallon. So these last a pretty long time. Also, obviously, if you buy stuff in bulk, it'll be even cheaper too when you break it down per cost. Again, a lot of cost up front, but for the amount you're actually using, especially in 1 gallons, it's almost, it's pennies basically once you break it down. I mean, you're adding a teaspoon, a quarter teaspoon of ingredients at a time. So it's almost nothing. And that would be for a basic mead. So a 1 gallon carboy will give you roughly about 4 bottles of mead. The 750, like a typical wine bottle. So if you're just making it traditional, so you have this, that's $10 roughly. Say if you did about, just a 3 pound batch, that's 3 pounds of that, half a packet, there's 50 cents. And then your water. You can buy your bottled water, or you can use your tap water as long as your like if you drink it, you can brew with it. Now, what if you're not using that? What if you want to use, fancy honeys? Well, I have done that. I actually worked out the cost of some of the meads that I made just to really break it down for how much it's going to cost. So we'll go back to the 4 traditionals video that I did. What I did with that is I ordered some, gourmet honeys, if you want to call it that, some specialized honeys. There's buckwheat honey, blackberry blossom, blueberry blossom, and raspberry blossom honeys. And those are, they were a little more on the expensive side. But even then, and I calculated, everything. The amount of honey that I added in primary, the nutrients that I used, the honey that I used to back sweeten everything. The only thing I didn't calculate is the water, now that I think of it. But again, it's so minuscule, it almost doesn't even count. And I didn't calculate the cost of the equipment into that because obviously, like I said, you just use it over and over again. So what it broke down to per bottle, about $8.75. If you go to the local liquor store, when I buy the occasional bottle, it's about $15.99. So I'm getting 2 bottles basically for the price of 1, just by doing it myself. For something that's a little more involved, like say my Dragon's Blood mead, for this one, it's a 5-gallon batch that I made. Well, by the time you get the fruit out and everything, it's actually more, it's a little bit more than 4 gallons. Anyways, I broke down the cost of that, the fruit, as well as the honey, and the honey that I need for back sweetening and everything. But I get about 22 bottles off of this batch. So again, I calculated out all the cost of my ingredients, including my nutrients and everything, and divided that by 22 because that's roughly how many bottles I get, give or take. And it cost me about, $4 a bottle to create that. So instead of paying $15 or more, for depending on the wine that you get, I got 22 bottles that cost me roughly $4 each to create. And I can't stop raving about how much I love Dragon's Blood mead. It is my absolute favorite. So I would much rather make that than to buy store-bought stuff. It's as simple as that. Now, don't get me wrong. I do enjoy running to the liquor store and buying a bottle of this or that. That being said, yes, honey is expensive. The cost of the equipment can be expensive. And I guess another thing I should point out is you can also look on, places like Kijiji or Facebook Marketplace, stuff like that. There's a lot of people that are trying to get rid of their stuff. If you do something like that though, always look over the equipment first, make sure it was taken care of, wash it, and sanitize the shit out of it, just to make sure none of your batches go wrong. So hopefully this explains to you that yes, home brewing, mead making is definitely worth it. And the thing is this is expensive, that's expensive. This is a hobby, and you need to remember that. And there is people that spend a ton of money on other things because it brings them joy. The other thing is the community. The mead making community, the home brewing community is an amazing, amazing place. I've met and talked to people from all over the world. A lot of them talk to us through our Discord. So, nice little plug, join our Discord because we would love to talk to you as well and answer any questions you may have. So really, I don't know what the downside is. You have a fun hobby, you get some alcohol out of it, you meet some amazing people, and honestly, it's just a lot of fun. And that's the other thing with mead making and home brewing and stuff. There's so many possibilities to what you can create. Just make a traditional. Look at my 4 traditionals video. I did 4 different traditionals with 4 different honeys. I kept everything the exact same except for the honey, and they all turned out different. It was a super fun experiment. You know, I discovered my dragon's blood, and I've made it time and time again. And each time I've made it, I've tried to tweak it just a little bit, just to make it a little bit better. You can try all kinds of crazy things. I know people, I haven't tried it yet, but they've made like a tomato mead. You can go really simple, like I said, with the traditionals, or just do a straight up blueberry mead or raspberry mead. You can make a coffee mead. We have a video on that. Take a look at my witch's brew. It's kind of a mix between metheglin and the melomel. I mean, it's got fruit in it, but it's got a whole bunch of seasonings in it, like herbs and stuff. And honestly, I don't think anyone has ever tried making it yet, and it's their loss. So the answer is yes, it is totally worth getting into mead making. I hope this video explained everything to you. If you have any questions, like I said, go check out our Discord. I hope I didn't miss anything, but if you enjoyed this video, definitely like and subscribe. Click the little bell icon. That way you get notified whenever we post something new, which is every Thursday and every Saturday. And I really hope for those of you that are seeing this and you haven't tried mead making, try it. You are missing out on an amazing world.